Hello everyone. Today, let us continue with the paper titled An Introduction to Literary Theories. This video is part 2 of Unit 1, Literary Theorizing from Aristotle to F.R. Lewis, Some Key Moments. Today, we'll discuss about Romantic poets. The overview of today's study, we will cover the following Romantic poets: William Wordsworth, Samuel Taylor Coleridge, Percy Bysshe Shelley, and John Keats. William Wordsworth's Preface to Lyrical Ballads. The preface for the Lyrical Ballads was written by both Wordsworth and Coleridge in 1798. The introduction was later added to the work in the second edition that was published in 1800. The Lyrical Ballads has literary ballads that are based on the popular oral ballads of ordinary country people. The ballads do not follow the conventions or the rules of the verbal decorum. Verbal decorum is the artificiality on poetic language such that it appears different from the language of the ordinary speech. The Lyrical Ballads is written in a poetic language which is similar to the prose, neglecting the conventions of diction and verbal structure. The objective of lyrical ballad is to provide rationale for the critic's own poetic work and to educate the audience about it. It also highlights the relationship between poetic language and the ordinary language. Coleridge's Biographia Literaria. Biographia Literaria was written in the year 1817. It means literary biography. The complete title of Biographia Literaria is Biographical Sketches of My Literary Life and Opinions. It addresses the ideas in the work Preface by Wordsworth. Coleridge says that Wordsworth writes his best poetry when he does not follow the rules. Shelley's A Defense of Poetry. Defense of Poetry was written in 1821. It was published posthumously in 1840 by his wife Mary Shelley in Essays, Letters from Abroad, Translations and Fragments. The essay was written in response to Thomas Love Peacock's essay, The Four Ages of Poetry. According to Shelley, poetry strips the veil of familiarity from the world. This idea was later discussed by Russian critics in 20th century, which was later termed as defamiliarization. Shelley insists the distinction between the author and the writer. Author is the person who is responsible for the work, and writer is the person who is in the work. T.S. Eliot prefers to have more distinctions between the author and the writer to produce best literary work. He expresses it as the idea of impersonality in the essay Tradition and the Individual Talent, which was written in 1919. He says, poetry should not be just conscious rendering of personal experience into words. Shelley has examined the notion of consciousness even before a century in his work A Defense of Poetry. He tells about the features of mind that conscious portions of our natures are unprophetic either of its approach or of its departure. These lines predict the Freudian notion that mind is made up of conscious and unconscious aspects. John Keats's negative capability. John Keats did not write about literary theory in a formal way. He has expressed it in his letters. He writes about the idea of unconscious in his letter to Bailey, written on 22nd November 1817. He says that the silent working of the mind is the unconscious and the spirit which it evokes is the conscious. Keats's negative capability reflects the same idea, stressing that a person is capable of being in uncertainties, mysteries, doubts, without any irritable reaching after fact and reason. John Keats used the term negative capability for the first time in his letter, which was addressed to his brothers, George and Tom, written on 21st December 1817. He says that we should not come to conclusions immediately. Instead, the reader must be in doubt, continue to observe, and then probe to understand it effectively. Here is a reference for further study. Thanks for listening and thanks for your time. Thank you.